All righty. Welcome to episode 297 of Together VHA. We will be talking all things Oxford versus Brighton today. And I must tell you, lads, I love Adam, but the conversations we've had have been less positive than I suspect we'll have today. So this is good to have you both on the pod. Robin, welcome for your 2025-26 debut. And Craig, welcome back after your router died within about 12 minutes of the first episode.
15-minute cameo and then had to leave. Yeah, sorry.
How are we both? How was Iceland? How's the new router? How are you feeling about everything? Everything good? Connections good? Icelandic tan good?
I think so. I was only going to come on when we made a win, so I was wondering what month of the year that was going to be. So glad it's glad it's still in August. But no, all good. All good.
Doing well as well. Yeah. Not too bad. How about yourself, Josh?
Really good. Yeah. Better than I was on Sunday. So yeah, everything's looking pretty good. I guess let's just get straight down to it. We're also recording right after full time. So as we talk, we've got Grimsby and Manchester United at 2-2. We don't know how that's going to end. And ideally, we'll be seeing the draw shortly afterwards, so we can kind of react live on air. So that should be good. Stephen in the chat, glad to see our teenagers look sharp and energetic. Yeah, we've got a lot of positives to go over tonight, which is lovely. Outside of the first 10 seconds, we were pretty much fab. So let's talk starting 11. Adam and I talked about this on the previous episode, and both of us were hoping for 11 changes, despite how risky that is in any level of any competition. We really wanted to ring the changes, given how many players we've signed and simply aren't playing. And that's actually what we got. Steele in goal, Veltman at right back, Igor at left back, Boscagli and Coppola manning the defence in the middle. Milner, Hinshelwood, Kadioglu, Gruder, Gomez and Howell as the front five. It ended up, pretty much Gruder playing more so a striker than anybody else, but Gomez enjoyed quite a lot of time up there as well, and Hinshelwood was just about everywhere as well. What did you guys think of that 11? Notably, no actual striker in the starting 11 was a bit of a scary one, given our woes at the weekend. But what were you thinking with that group? And obviously the bench was, I mean, for a game against a relatively struggling Oxford side, even this early in the season, Tasker, Watson, Costolas, Simas, Baleba, O'Reilly, Lamptey, Simmons, and McGill is a little bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I agree with you. Good to see 11 changes. I think there might have been a bit of a worry that he felt he needed to go stronger to try and get a little confidence back into the team. But I'm glad that he made all the changes, and I think we pretty much got exactly what we wanted from both the starting 11 and the subs bench. I think, we got a start for Ferdy, who's still sort of easing his way back in. We saw Veltman again, who, has become almost the world's best right back as a result of not playing a game. And, we saw Howell get a game, and then we saw the two Greek lads and Watson on the bench. So I think no complaints really beyond the lack of a starting striker. But I think it's kind of necessitated by Welbeck probably being knackered after Sunday, Jorginho still being injured, and probably then not wanting to risk having to start, either of the Greek lads from the beginning. So I think it's probably as good a squad as we were going to get.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the formation. I think everyone kind of was just beforehand and, playing Gomez according to the first half wherever he wanted to be. And then just, I guess, having an outlet. Like, I think that was the main thing. But it's nice that you can make those changes and you can be relatively comfortable. Like, in hindsight, it's a wonderful thing. But like before the game, you're kind of looking at it going, okay, we've made changes, great, but there's no striker here. And we've talked a lot about a lack of striker. So it did worry me a little bit before the game, because I was like, I don't know who's playing where and where the goals are actually going to come from. But yeah, ultimately, it was a good result in the end. But the formation wise, and I guess the consistency of the formations, it's just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it was
sort of looked like a 5, didn't it? Sorry, Josh. I was going to say at various points it looked like a back 5 as well that we seem to be
That's what
into.
That's what I thought it was going to be from the start, right? Because I thought Ferdy would be left wing back. I thought Veltman can play the right wing back, and we could operate a 5. I think Josh said in the chat earlier, it's a bit harsh on a lower championship side to play 5 at the back, but sure. But that's what I thought it was going to be. It ended up being Igor out there and Veltman just playing traditional right back, with Ferdy really pushed up. So I guess there's brownie points for versatility there for him.
Yeah, absolutely. But within about 10 seconds of the starting whistle, there was a bit of drama. I think it was only about the third touch of the ball, and Igor just misplaced it high, like fell to him horribly. He hit it horribly, and it just landed right at the Oxford player's feet. And I'm not sure which one it was, one of their strikers. And it was a fantastic save from Jason Steele, and I'll say that quite a few times tonight. And he made a great save. Kind of rebounded the ball, and it almost immediately whiplashed up the other end, where Gomez broke free with Gruder, and I think it was Kadioglu on his left, I think, and all three of them were just all open, like they just sliced them apart, all in one sweep from kicking the ball off from the start. Steele saves, bounce back up the other end, and what was really just a simple pass over to Gruder for a finish, Gomez decided to just smash it, and it did not go to plan. But I think from then on, the idea was that this is not going to be a low-scoring affair. Oxford looked very much up for it. They weren't going to just sit back and play 5 or 8 at the back and hope for a penalty shootout. They were very much hoping to score goals tonight, and I thought they acquitted themselves pretty well until the score really got away from them, and then it was a case of kind of just throwing caution to the wind and hoping for the best. But how did you feel about that first kind of opening 12 minutes? Oxford looked like they were very, very much up for it. There was a couple of chances spurned early days.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to continue on from Everton in terms of us being able to do basically everything other than score a goal, spurn some pretty presentable chances. So it was nice to get a very fortuitous opening goal to set us on the way.
Yeah, it was definitely a high scoring game, or at least a load of chances. I think I was looking at the shots and stuff just from the game in general, and there's a lot of shots here. Like I think the scoreline is great and all, but I think we were matched with the amount of shots that we took and just with how many were being peppered at Steele, and I thought it was great. But yeah, it was a weird 10 minutes. I think we really struggled to like just settle into games, and the earlier we do, the better we are traditionally. So I'm glad that we did settle down. But there was a couple of like spurned chances before we got the first, like the Gruder chance I have to call out, because I have no idea what he was doing, because he turns out to be man of the match in the end, but like it should have been so easily done, and I can't believe he screwed that up.
I can't really work out what he was trying to. I mean, it seems so obvious that he did the hard bit, which was like go around the goalkeeper
Really well as well, didn't he?
Yeah, like, and then it's just like it seems like just one easy sort of motion with his right foot puts it in, and it reminded me in a lot of ways of O'Reilly's one on Sunday, just like taking an unnecessary touch that then just destroys the chance. So I don't know. He couldn't really be caught in two minds because there was no one really in the middle that he could have pulled it back to. So I don't know. Yeah, very bizarre.
Yeah, he had a rough start that moment, and then shortly after the first goal, there was a challenge in midfield where he thought he was fouled and just stopped playing and refused to move, and I had lost it on my sofa. I was like, "You can just get off the field. Like, if you're not gonna chase that man back, get off the pitch. Like, get out of here." Like, and then he ended up being unreal everywhere. So like he obviously got the message. I suspect Hertzler told him the same in many a word. But yeah, I mean, that chance was unbelievable 12 minutes in. And thankfully, almost immediately from that, Buscagli got his debut goal. It feels quite generous saying it was a goal for him. I thought he might have been offside initially, but a couple of replays, it looks like he is played onside. It'd be very much a close VAR call. It wasn't as obvious as I thought it was. And I mean, what do we all make of Boskagli tonight? Stephen Mitchell in the chat thinks he looks a calm player on the ball. Like to see him start ahead of Dunk, and actually enjoyed the monster in Igor playing. I mean, I have to agree in terms of like how calm he looked. He looked like the captain of the back line immediately, didn't he? Like he looked so calm and composed. He looked every inch is 27 years old, right? With the European experience, which is something that Albion have not often signed. I thought he was fantastic tonight. So, any thoughts on Boskagli in that opening goal? And kind of we just went from strength to strength there, didn't we? But what were your thoughts?
He was good. Yeah, first time seeing him really, like, and again, you sort of have to measure him against who we were playing against as well. Like, I appreciate that, but like Oxford did have a lot of chances, and I think we did let a lot of chances go. And I think he was calm and accomplished in sort of the attacking sense. And I know we had a lot of the ball, but again, we still let 18, 19 shots against Oxford United get past, and that's the stats are one thing. I think for the eye test, yeah, he looks great. And I think you highlighted, I think he's got that sort of captain material as well in regards to leading and being able to motivate people. So it's a good first debut. I think he's going to be really good. So I think this is just the first step of a very good centre back for us.
What do we think he needs to do to dislodge Dunk, probably, from a league point of view? Because I feel like it's a little bit more difficult as a centre back to muscle your way in, because in other positions it's quite obvious where you start putting up numbers, right? If you're a winger or you're an attacker and you consistently get chances off the bench and you start scoring goals and making assists, you make it a really strong case to get in the starting 11. To get in ahead of Dunk, you've basically either got to have Hertzler decide that Boskagli and Van Hecker is going to be his duo and just make a decision, or you've got to wait for Dunk to have a bit of a rocky patch. So what do we think is the more likely scenario to see him go in? I mean, I do think he's clearly not come to us ahead of other options in Europe to not be in the team fairly soon, I'd have thought. So I'm just thinking about what's the most likely route in.
I mean, personally, and now I'm interested to hear your thoughts as well, Craig. But I think it's more the latter than the former. I think it's not Boskagli's. It's not you. It's me, right? It's not Boskagli. It's Dunk. Like everything hinges on Dunk more than Boskagli. You're not only dropping a centre half for a more perhaps a straight up better centre half at this point. We don't know. But like, you're not only dropping him, but you're dropping your club captain. You're dropping your longest serving player. Like, there's so much politics to it as well, that you've really got to get the time right. And it's kind of frustrating given the start we've had and the start we're probably going to continue having, right? That I think ultimately it's going to rest on when Dunk eventually gets hurt or has to get rotated out for something. And then I can see him probably taking that position and never giving it back. But it's a rough one.
I mean, it's exactly what I was going to say. Is that it's Dunk's to lose as opposed to Boskagli's to win, right? So you wait for either a rocky patch or you wait for an injury, given he's 33, 34 now. And I think it's more disguised of Dunk needs a rest for these 5 games and we'll bring Boskagli in, and then we'll just see how that works. But you're right. There's way too much sort of politics there. That's your captain and that's your, I guess, your locker room leader, whatever you want to call it. But like, he's the guy. He's the person. So, even contemplating it at the moment, I don't think is right until something either goes wrong. Like either he gets hurt or there's a rusty patch or something needs to change. Like, I'm not saying there has to be an excuse for it, but there needs to be a reason for change. And that's either 5 losses in a row or someone gets injured.
Tough, isn't it? I know Coppola was decent as well. I mean, he's a bit more raw as a player, but I mean, he's an absolute unit, isn't he, as well? Like he was comfortable. So a few times bringing the ball out from the back quite comfortably as well. So you can see his progression is going to be there. So I mean, I guess the other way to look at it is it's going to apply some positive pressure to Lewis Dunk, isn't it? Because you've now got 2 top quality options, not including Igor in this conversation if Igor's still around. You know, you've got 2, potentially 3 players who have demonstrated that they are going to fit into Hertzler's system. So I guess that's the hope, is that it drives on everybody's standards.
You've also got to imagine that for now, right, Hertzler is also going to be bailed out somewhat by the fact that there's a third round of this cup coming up, that he's going to inevitably get every single one of these players game time in again, right? They're going to get 90 minutes in a week and a half. So like that really is going to help him eke out the conundrum, right? Because if we get drawn against, I don't know, Burnley next week, I don't even know if they're in, but like we get drawn against another team, and like whoever, I mean, I think whoever it is we get drawn against, like I would imagine Buscaglia and Coppola will start, right? So like that helps stem that flow of like possible dissatisfaction around wanting to play. Personally, I think that's going to keep him out of trouble for a little while and let that settle.
If you can get a good Carabao Cup run until the FA Cup starts, then it seems like, you know, your rotation is a lot easier in being able to, like you said, satisfy game time. So I don't know. I think Igor's a funny one for me as well, because I think there was so much noise about him going out, but obviously with Webster's injury, I feel like he has to stay. But then you've still got 5 good centre backs that probably want to play a lot of football. So I can only imagine that an Igor conversation has been had. Say, we need you to probably be more versatile and play left back for us, please. And that's a tough one. Like, someone here is not going to get game time, because even if you have a good EFL Cup run, even if you have a good FA Cup run, there is still one centre back there that either needs to play out of position or is not getting any game time at all. So that's notwithstanding Lamptey on the bench. That's notwithstanding having other people come in and maybe Ferdy playing left back instead one time, because that's where you want him to be. De Kuyper coming in. He needs game time. He's only just got here. So I'm glad it's not my problem, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by Ferdy on the wing. Don't know about you guys. Still not convinced by that at all. Like, he seems very much like a fullback to me. Like watching him play, it looks like he wants to drift a little bit further back.
He wants to be a wing back. Yeah. And that's where he's best used. So like, if we were going to play that 5, like I said earlier, I was like, great, because I think he's a superb wing back. But I think as an out and out attacker, he had a couple of good chances today and got a couple of shots on target. But, you know, you can see the difference maybe with your Matomas and your Mintes and maybe even your Watsons, and I'm going to throw them in there. But like the out and out wingers compared to people that are very versatile and can do a lot.
It's night and day. Like, all 3 of them, like, it's night and day. Yeah, I totally agree. And Gruder as well, right? He's not comfortable on the right, but like he looks, because he's an offensively minded player. So like that's just the way it is, I think. Yeah, good start, good goal. And 7 minutes later, Gruder redeemed himself. Pretty big time as well, with a beautiful finish. First of all, what an absolute beauty of a ball from Veltman to spot the run. Perfectly timed and weighted into the box. And then fantastic ball, like just pull the ball down in the middle of the box and then just pounded it. Like, absolutely didn't mess around this time. At 2-0, even though it was only 20 minutes, like at 2-0, it felt a long way back for Oxford. And it felt like that 10-second chance was like 3 years ago. Like, it must have felt a long time ago when that happened for them, didn't it? It really seemed to change the tide pretty big time at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the game's done at that point, isn't it? Like, realistically, especially against a team, like I say, they've not had a great start in the league. And it felt like you could just feel the air being sucked out of the atmosphere and their performance. And it just felt like the game was going to go one of 2 ways, wasn't it? It was going to play out. That would be the last goal of the game, and it would just be a kind of training exercise, or it would be a bit of a cricket score. I did feel for them because, as the lower league team, and we've been there, right? Plenty of times when we were down there, and you get a big cup draw and they have the anticipation running up to the game. and then 20 minutes in, it's like it's basically done, right? We know that experience of what it's like and how frustrating it is. So I can completely like empathize with them, but it allowed us to probably do what we needed to do, which was to try out a few different formations, get players on, get them probably some more minutes than they might have had the game been 0-0 or 1-0 with half an hour left. So you've got to be selfish and say we got the most benefit from it.
It's one of those things too, right? Where like you see a lot of these teams roll out at the minute and have done for quite a long time in these cup competitions, and they play their youth players and they roll them around, right? And it's a good run out for them. But no disrespect for the players that I'm about to talk about, but like this wasn't like Noel Atom or Freddie Simmons or like Joe Knight starting like a whole group of these kind of like proper under 21 players playing. Everybody who rolled out there tonight are seasoned professionals who have played high level football that all want to make that first 11 on Sunday. Like it's a cutthroat business, and that's a cutthroat 11 we threw out there. Like that 11 is perfectly capable of surviving a relegation battle in the Premier League on its own. Like that's a horrible team to have to send out to an Oxford. Like for Oxford, like that's rough. Like you're not getting the kids. Like you're getting 11 players that are all very keen to play real football in the Premier League and are all there to prove a point and aren't there to be friendly. Like they're there to cut you apart if they can. Or in the case of, Boscagli and Coppola, like dominate you, like do whatever they need to do to be like a shorter back line. Like it's a weird situation, isn't it, Craig? Like we almost literally have two first 11s there that we've just cycled through.
Well, this is the thing, right? We talked about strikers and maybe the lack of depth there. You do forget just the level of depth we do have in other areas, right? We're talking about 5 very good centre backs. You're talking about being able to rotate your fullbacks and your wing backs with really, especially against a championship team, with no issue. You've got your midfield as well. Like it's good depth, right? And I think that's something, because we can harp on all day about our lack of striking options and stuff, and we'll come on to that, I'm sure. But just around not having enough up top and not having enough options when it comes to the attacking third, I think we probably do. But it's just, again, a level of adaptation, whatever, or chances. Like it's just being able to give these guys a chance. And these sort of VFL Cup runs allows them to have that chance and be able to, like you said, prove that they can do it. So when you do go and you look at Man City on Sunday, you go, hang on, like a couple of these guys just had an outstanding game and are probably more ready than we think they're going to be.
You would hope so, right? You would hope so. After that, I did note here about 27 minutes in, Oxford had a bit of a flash chance on the break. And there was a few of those as the game went on. They caught us out where it was a classic kind of case of that back line never playing together before. And there was a slightly underhit pass here, slightly overhit pass there. And it presented them a little bit of space to really kind of cut through on the break. Thankfully for us, most of those shots that they took were very long-range speculative ones, or very easy for Steele to pull off. There were a handful in that second half that were just fabulous saves. And there was a few times at set pieces where we looked not quite sure where we were going around with things. And I think that also is a product of having a totally different starting 11, right? Like starting as a set piece there as well. But overall, that kind of that rest of that first half, it almost felt like it could have gone in that direction, Robin, that you were talking about, where it almost petered down into that warm-up like run. And then, of course, we come out in the second half, and on the hour mark, we scored from a set piece. We had Diego Coppola head the ball down and was blocked on the line, which is very annoying because I had a bet on him to score any time. And Gomez just kind of smashed the ball home from point blank range. And at that point, the floodgates very much opened when we went on to sub on shortly after that. Seamas, Baleba, and Tom Watson. What did you make of the Gomez performance tonight in general? Now we're kind of talking about his goal and kind of the way we looked in that set piece situation.
He was quite mixed. At various times, he looked like he was struggling a bit when he was in a properly kind of central midfield role. He seems to be more comfortable higher up the pitch, I think. I don't know whether it's because he knows he's got more protection behind him and he's happy to try a bit more in terms of like taking chances. But that was my take. He seemed to be more comfortable when he was in that advance role.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot. I think I just don't know what he is personally, right? I know he's a good midfielder, right? But like you're kind of playing him in the middle and out on the right, kind of today. You bring him on during the Premier League games, and he's there to do something. I haven't really figured out what his big strength is. You can say that about anyone on the pitch and say what's their biggest strength. Gomez, I really just can't pinpoint it. It's not to say he's not a good player, because I think there's a really good player in there. I think we need to find out what his X factor is. I think, and also the scoreline sort of flatters us today a little bit in my brain, because I think if some of those chances came to a Premier League team, we would have still conceded 2, 3, 4 goals today. So like it's great that you kept a clean sheet, but Jason still got like a 9.2 out of 10 rating, right, against Oxford United. So there's still work to be done here. I appreciate it's 11 changes. I appreciate that we're playing a championship team that were up for it, granted, but there's still some issues here. There's a clean sheet, but we still faced a hell of a lot of shots and we let a lot of chances go that against the right team, we would have conceded a fair amount today.
I totally agree. Yeah, it is 11-11 right now in this Manchester United penalty shootout.
I'm
absolutely insane.
That's why I'm looking down here. It's a hell of a shootout.
We're not going to get the draw whilst we're on air, because
I know.
It's still going to be going
3 hours later. You've fully brainwashed your wife into liking football, and she's literally like stood looking through the crack in the door because she can't stop watching it, but she needs to leave the room. But like she's obsessed.
Yeah, I love a penalty shootout.
How
good is it getting rid of extra time as well? Like it just saves everyone's time. Extra time.
This level,
9 times out of 10, it's a waste of time, because you get like for the first 5 or 10 minutes of extra time, everyone goes for it, and then for the last bit, no one wants to concede. Just
settles. The last 15 minutes of extra time is always the most boring football you've ever seen.
Yeah, straight to penalties.
I think that's the only reason you can really argue for bringing back golden goal, really, with the fact that everybody just plays anti-football.
I bloody love it. I would
golden goal.
Yeah, it didn't last long, did it? But it would be absolute carnage if that came. You wouldn't see everybody sitting around then, would you? No. Oh my God. He's absolutely fluffed it.
Amazing.
Oh my word. What a result. That is absolutely nuts.
That's hilarious, isn't it? The only good, I was going to say, the only,
they're on the pitch. The crowd's on the pitch.
It's mad, isn't it? The only caveat I want
with and Grimsby, the Cleethorpes will be a flame like Philadelphia after the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
It's mad, isn't it?
I can't believe that's
terrible penalty.
Two signings as well, the little marquee signings that missed.
Terrible. The only thing I want with golden goal, the only rule that you have to have with golden goal, is that they should just be forced to keep playing until someone scores. It's not half an hour. It's not half an hour of extra time. Like we're not stopping until there's a golden goal.
Or you just start turning one floodlight off every 5 minutes, just playing in the dark. All right,
I'd take. I'd get each team loses a player every 5 minutes until it's like 1-on-1.
Then it ends up like those MLS penalty shootouts.
Yeah. Anyway.
Brit is incredibly amused that the Grimsby shirt, their sponsor on it, says "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." She's absolutely loving life over there. She's like, this is like her Christmas seeing Man United lose a penalty shootout to Grimsby, I think. All right, so let's move on. Ferdy Kadioglu, Gomez, and Hinchel will come off on 66 minutes. Tommy Watson, Stefanos Simas, and Carlos Baleba come on 66. Obviously, Baleba, similar situation to Ferdy, right? He's kind of being managed back in. He was very openly managing his minutes in the first game. Kind of bafflingly subbed him off tactically again at the weekend. Not sure he'll do that again, given that tactically it was a bad decision. But after that, it felt like the players left on the pitch were players that were incredibly keen to prove themselves, because within 5 minutes of coming on, Seamas scored his first, and 6 minutes later he scored his second. Harry Howell with the assist on both. And I mean, what a start to his Brighton career that is for Stefanos Seamas, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Looked
good thing he's not
very
got people
keen.
overexcited, isn't it? I mean, that would be a big problem if he'd set a really high bar now. No, I mean, it's obviously great that he's shown he's a natural finisher, isn't he? I mean, I think his first goal was basically his first touch, wasn't it? Pretty much after coming on. So no, really, it's perfect to get 2 goals like that.
I think he looks good. He looks like a composed finisher, which is always good. I think he's a bit of a runner as well. I think there's a bit of a tenacity in him. So like, yeah, I'm excited to see it. I think Robin's right. I think that there's probably a little bit of overexcitement here in what he can bring, and he's going to go and bash in 2 goals a game now for the rest of the year. But like, there's clearly promise in him and working, and I think, without being cliche, it was more that he was really happy to score and he was actually excited about it, and like it seemed like he really wanted it, which is like that sort of hunger that you want in an attacker as well. So I thought he looked good. I mean, yeah, sort of overpromised now, but I think he's going to be a good option, I think, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see him on the bench on Sunday, because I think that's someone that you can bring on with 20 minutes to go, because he will run.
Yeah, I think that is my like reasonable compromise, right? Like there are going to be a lot of people on Twitter and Blue Sky everywhere, right? On Sunday when the team is announced at 12:45. Where's Seamas? Why is he not starting? Why is Welbeck starting? He missed the penalty. You know, the idiots online are like just like bots at this point. Like, but he's got to be on the bench, right? Like they've both him and Babis have been omitted from the bench for the first few games of the season. What more can you do coming on with 20 minutes to go and 25 minutes to go than score a brace, right? Like he's surely earned his way onto the bench after that, when we just went to Everton with no striker on the bench. Like he is clearly capable of making an impact if we need it. Because I mean, if that ball comes into the box from a set piece and it drops to someone's foot, I'm already pretty happy having it drop to Seamas's foot in the 88th minute, right? He looked, like you say, he looked almost like just predatory, like perfect, easy peasy.
Good finishes, like I think, and that's you can play against any team in the world, but those sort of finishes and running through and putting them in the corner are good. I'd rather him than Jan-Paul van Hecker up front, right? So like, you know, that's also something. But you're right. I think sort of fox in the box stuff, I'm hoping that he gets one of those chances and kicks on.
Yeah, and then shortly after that, another sub was made, and the other one, well, 2 subs, but one that was kind of harsh on Charlie Tasker because he comes on for Joel Veltman, but the one that everybody was excited to see was Costolas coming on for James Milner. A bit harsh for Charlie, but it is what it is. I'm sure he understands even himself. Didn't get as much of a run around, did he, given it was that last kind of 10 minutes. And to be fair to Oxford, they really gave it a go to try and get something in that last 10 minutes. They were really keen to at least get a goal for some of their, like, the remainder of their fans to cheer about. It was quite comical seeing the car park slowly empty, I've got to admit. Like, it was kind of funny watching that piece because you just don't usually see a car park in the stadium camera, but it was pretty funny. But he had a couple of filthy first touches as well, and that shot he took that was deflected looked nasty as well. I think it's understandable that he's a little bit further away from the first team because he also was carrying a bit more of an injury, I believe, towards the end of the season than Seamas was. But you know, what did you make of his kind of cameo there as well? And I guess while we're here as well, before we talk about the final goal, like what did we all make of Harry Howell tonight? Again, like that's very much a Brighton prospect coming through. 2 assists tonight for both Seamas's goals. Made a couple of good moves in the first half as well. He certainly didn't look out of place, did he? You are on mute, Robin. You're chatting away with your microphone above your ear.
He is only 17, isn't he, I think?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of carried on. I think it was at the Liverpool home game towards the end of last season where he came on with potentially 20 minutes or so to go and looked really good, like was quite happily running at them. So I mean, he looks like someone who is not afraid of the big stage at all. And he's another one like quite comfortable if he was, coming on fairly regularly in Premier League games at this point. He looks a real option even at this stage.
Which is mental, right? Like I think,
absolutely.
Just given you'll see just the level of outgoings this window, right? And just, well, I know we're coming to the end of the transfer window as well, but you've got people like Buonanotte and Enciso that are not near this squad. But you have a 17-year-old Harry Howe that is being put on from the start in the EFL Cup and is routinely being brought on for the last 20 minutes of Premier League games. So it's got a lot of trust in him. Herzler obviously sees something that he is in the first team and he can help us right now, which at 17 years old is a lot. So high expectations, I'm sure, but I think having him around the first team, even for this year, and just having him here for the first half of the year will probably do him wonders as well.
Yeah, I agree. Stephen in the chat saying that he's amazed at how much Harry Howell has bulked up since last season, and I've got it. Like, I didn't even think about it, but you're probably right. He does look like looks more like an adult now than a kid playing. Which the wonders that can take over when you're kind of working out an elite performance center, basically focusing on strength and conditioning over the course of the summer, right? Like at 17, 18, it's pretty mental how the body can change. Someone who probably could do with going in the weight room a little bit is Tommy Watson. Little lad, isn't he? But what an absolute finish he had. Siamas again, another good cutting run, and then ends up kind of laying the ball off. And Watson just cool as you. I mean, it was just like magic one stuff. I'll let you take over, Craig, as a fan favorite for Tommy Watson. I'll let you kind of narrate the goal.
I don't even know why I've got this, but like, it's just, I was more, the reason it comes from it is I was more surprised that he was not involved than the Greek guys, just given his English football experience and just given like his, I guess, yeah, there's no injury. He's coming straight from Sunderland. He played a lot of games. Obviously, he got isolated when he wanted to move and got the move. But like, there's clearly a talent, right? Everyone harps on about the playoff final and stuff, but he's got something. So I was just very surprised that he hasn't been involved more so than the Greek guys. Like, I think the striker has always been the problem, blah, blah, blah. But like, I know wingers were probably more than adequate with Matoma and Minte, and that's sort of our solid two pairing for starting. I'm just so surprised he hasn't got 20 minutes off the bench and Harry Howe does. But that's just me and my opinion. So I think you can see what he's capable of, and I think he's a direct winger that we need to come off the bench and to be direct and to make something out of nothing. And I think he's the right person for it. It's a great finish, and he can do it. He felt bad for scoring a sixth against Oxford, to be honest. They looked devastated to even score.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was away with the England under-19s for a lot of the summer, so I think he missed a fair chunk of pre-season. I think he went there straight off the back of the playoff final, so I think they've probably carefully managed his game time to sort of ease him in. But yeah, I mean, he's got a knack of just scoring terrific goals. And I think Josh, I know you referenced his sort of size or lack of size. I think it makes him quite difficult to defend against, just from the point of view of physics, that he's able to sort of get through smaller gaps than other players might not be able to do so.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, right? Like, I guess technically. Looking at the Everton game, De Kuiper, Dunk, Van Hekke, Weaver, Baleba, Ayari, Mitoma, O'Reilly, Minte, Welbeck, Coppola, Kadioglu, Gomez, Hinchelwood, Gruder. There was a couple of others here: Boscagli, Veltman, and I think it was Steele as well on the bench, and Milner. Who are you taking off of that to include Watson and Seamas, who are you taking out of that squad in general?
What, in terms of the match day squad? I mean,
yeah, because I think we all agree we would like to have both of those in there, right? As impact options offensively, given we have no one at all at Everton, and we're all kind of, there's a lot of talk of desperately needing a striker. It's like people are like Warren Aspinall, bless his heart, even talking about Jamie bloody Vardy. Like it looks like we've got some players that can make said offensive impacts. Like who would we want to move out of that match day squad?
Well, I mean, bench wise, I think it's not that controversial to say you don't need Veltman, Boscagli, and Coppola all on the bench, because Veltman can cover right back and at a push could cover centre back. So you really only need one of Boscagli or Coppola in my mind. So that frees you up one spot straight away. And then the other spot, a bit more difficult. Who else do we have on the bench at Everton? Reel it off again for me if you've got it.
Yeah, let me go through it again. So on the bench at Everton, we had Hinchelwood, Kadioglu, Gomez, Gruder, Boscagli, Coppola, Veltman, Milner, Steele.
I mean, again, you can make an argument for saying, do you need both Gomez and Milner? Is probably another one I'd go for. So either one of Gomez or Milner drops out, and either one of Boscagli or Coppola drops out, and Watson and Simas come in.
Me and Stephen in the chat are aligned. Get O'Reilly out the match day squad. There's
not gonna. I think he's a bit of he's Fabian's kind of golden boy, isn't he, at the moment? So can't see it.
I mean, if Ruta's back in as well, that's another slot. So
yeah, fair.
We have depth. I think I said it earlier, but like there is depth here. It's just you need your Kadioglus, you need your Hinchwoods, because you need versatility, because there's only like so many options on that bench. So having people like Hinchwood and those sort of types that can play in multiple positions, your Mats Wiefer as well, like can now play right back all of a sudden. So
let's just go no goalkeeper on the bench. Why not? Just like
God, can you imagine? But yeah, I mean, it depends. I think I think we only see one, and I think it's probably going to be CMAS. Like just in pure requirements, right? Like you have midfielders, like your wingers can probably do it for 90 minutes, to be honest. They do anyway. I think you're probably going to see that. But we'll see. I would like to see Watson on there. I'd like to see CMAS on there. But if Ruta comes in, then I don't think you see CMAS, because I think you have Welbeck and you have Ruta.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, let's talk man of the match or kind of that outstanding player. I think the obvious one is Gruder, isn't it? Like, just unbelievable. Played really well. Goal, assist, just looked dangerous all the time. There wasn't a single time he didn't look like a problem. And then even contributed defensively as well. I think, only Boscagli and Igor made more successful tackles than Brad Gruder.
That's insane. I think he's probably meant to be playing striker, right? So, yeah. I agree. It's him. I thought he was really good. I think he had a great 77 minutes.
I think that kind of performance is exactly the number 10 performance that we were crying out for at Everton, I think, in terms of someone who's everywhere and brings that dynamism, athleticism. This is not a specific dig at O'Reilly either. It's just more that type of performance is what would have made a difference, I think. And it's the one that we know that Gruder and probably Ruta as well, that's more their game. So interesting. I mean, we've talked about O'Reilly, but it's like it's going to be really difficult if you get Gruder in a good run of form like that and Ruta coming back, and we can see that type of performance is what benefits the team. Then it's going to be a really interesting dilemma for Hertzler, isn't it? It shouldn't be a dilemma, but I feel like it will be.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, we may as well just wait and see what happens on Sunday. For me, right now, Matt O'Reilly is the clear odd man out. He could turn up on Sunday and be a totally different player, right? He's the player that Hurtsler sees in training and Celtic saw when he was there. Like, hopefully that's the case. We'll have to see. Man City next, obviously, doesn't get easier. Man City next at the Amex. Not really too much of a worry of squad fatigue. A, it's 3 games into the season, and B, we swapped our entire 11, so it doesn't. Man City had the week off, so did our entire starting 11 from Everton, so it kind of just doesn't even account. But deadline day is also coming up as well on a Monday. I think we'll be recording at the close of that on Monday. We'll kind of do the pod then. I'll be at the Amex, so just coming back, jumping on like when we got the deadline day the day after. Like, you know that if we do record on a Sunday, Monday will be like mental, and if we do record on the Monday, we'll do absolutely nothing. But like, at least then I don't have to like charge home down the M1, so we should be all right. We'll be back on the Sunday, and yeah, I mean, I guess you guys, like, what's your gut feeling on the transfer window itself? Do you think there's any more incoming? What's the idea there?
I don't think so. I think we need to see. I think everyone's quite clear. We need to see quite a lot of outgoing. Just to probably create some clarity for Hurtsler and probably a bit of space on the training pitch. So yeah, I think we'll see a good amount of outgoings, I think. But I mean, I can't see. The only question mark, obviously, we referenced earlier was the kind of the striker thing. I think Simas has kind of answered fairly straight away that he's not going to take that long a time to adjust. So I can't see it, unless the only caveat would be if the club sees a deal, you know, they think financially makes sense, that we've seen Brighton do. You know, obviously we saw Minte, that was a particular like, PSR, you know, situation, but that's the only incoming I can see, is where they spot something in the market or they spot someone that's available that they think is a good deal. Yeah, I mean, exactly, something like that. And obviously, you know, if Man United rock up with silly money for Baleba, I can't necessarily see it, but that's the only scenario that I can see us doing anything. I think if you probably offered them the chance to say, right, we don't buy anyone else and no one leaves that we don't want to leave, then, you know, they take that right now.
I think, yeah, between now and then, it's going to be something that's A, unexpected, and B, something that improves that first team quite comprehensively. I think you've built out the depth that we've spoken about ad nauseum today, but when it comes to deals out there, there might be some sort of domino effect that might happen, and you can be a benefactor from that in sort of late moves and people moving unexpectedly here, there, and everywhere. So I think I agree with you, Robin, that it'll be something that comes off the cuff as opposed to something that was obviously planned, because you're getting into that territory now where everyone's saying, oh shoot, I need to do something and I need to make a change to this team, even though I've had 8 weeks to do it. So like there's that sort of hesitancy or maybe even urgency from some teams. So like with the Minte stuff as well, you can benefit from other people's circumstance. I think that's the only way you see any incomings. I saw Seema's probably heading off to Ligue 1, right? I think Buonanotte is still a huge question mark because we haven't seen anything of him whatsoever. So, and Sarmiento with sort of his move or impending move, we haven't seen anything from him. So there's a few players that we do need to get out before we probably get anyone in.
Worth mentioning it too as well, of course, it appears that Enciso's move to Blueco has failed as medical. And given the issues he's had since that first knee injury, it's a worrying sign, I think, for it all just feels a little bit too Jose Izquierdo for me, which is a crying shame. Obviously, they seem to be two very different characters on the pitch and in the back room. But yeah. All right. Well, the draw's coming up, but it feels like it's a bit of a piss take to sit here for 10 minutes while they get it.
Yeah. Imagine we just sit here in quiet.
Yeah, just in silence, just waiting for it.
We're just going to take a time out, lads. Like, we're just
shall
going to
we?
sit here.
should we finish this with our new sponsor quickly, or our new partnership? Just for
Take it
those
away.
that aren't aware. So for longer time listeners will be aware that we had a sponsorship with Green King season before last, I think, wasn't it? I don't think we were sponsorless last season. So for those that were listening earlier in this calendar year, you might remember that we very sadly lost one of our friends, Andy, who was a very passionate Brighton fan and a member of the Together community. We very sadly lost him to suicide earlier in the year. And in the aftermath of Andy's death, his family sought donations to an organisation here in the UK called Andy's Man Club, which is a nationwide organisation that provides kind of safe space for men to get together each week and open up and talk about their feelings and any issues they're facing in their life. So his name obviously resonates with what they do and the name of their organization. So it prompted us to want to do something in that space. So we have proudly partnered with Andy's Man Club. So Together is proud to support Andy's Man Club, a talking group for men who are struggling or just need to be heard. So talking saves lives. So I'd really encourage anyone struggling or anyone who just wants to find out more to visit andysmanclub.co.uk. And they have nationwide meetings every Monday, somewhere across the country. So there'll be one not too far away from wherever you live. So I'd encourage everyone to go and check them out and some of the work that they do.
Well said. Good stuff. Yeah, wonderful. All right, I think we're done. We will be back Monday to chat all things Manchester City and transfer window. I mean, even if nothing happens for us, there could be something mental happen. I mean, look at the way Newcastle are desperately going through every striker in their phone book, right? Like they'll be calling up Alan Shearer to come back out of retirement by the end of Monday.
Do you think? Quick one. Do you think Isak leaves?
Yes.
It's funny, isn't it? Because Newcastle, like, I feel like Liverpool have sort of got them over a barrel, haven't they? Because
they've also got Ekatike, who's on fire, probably more so than he should have.
Very good, doesn't he?
They basically don't need. It's a really bizarre situation because it's the opposite to what you normally get. Because in this situation, the club doesn't actually need the player. The player wants the club, which creates a really weird transfer dynamic. Because normally you'd get the selling club, the buying club would be desperate to get the player. So that puts the negotiations in a certain direction. Here you've got Liverpool being able to rock up to Newcastle being like, well, he doesn't want to play for you. So like here's a low ball offer. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna take it or are you gonna like, because his value is just gonna plummet as well. Because now everyone knows he doesn't want to be there. So whether it's
Liverpool, they're gonna Odem Wingy it.
I don't know, like, but whether it's Liverpool this window, whether it's Liverpool or someone else in January, or whether it's Liverpool or someone else next summer, everyone knows he doesn't want to be there. So Newcastle have zero. Like, I know he has a long contract, right? But so do most footballers when transfers happen. Like, Newcastle have no real leverage here. It's it's quite unusual. Like, I don't know what they can do. So I don't know. I think he leaves. I think he has to. Like, I think they have to cut their losses. Because the sticking point is they want 150 million, and Liverpool have offered 120-ish.
They're not going to get
120. So they're not going to get 150. Like, they've basically got to decide. Like, are they realistically going to reintegrate him? I mean, he's basically said he doesn't want to play for them anymore. I mean, they went around his house. Went around his house the other day, and he was like, "No, I don't want to play for you."
The Saudis stepped in and like fully like laid on like the full works for him, and he still came out like an hour after the meeting and was just like with his agents was just like, "I still want to go." Like, how brutal is that? Like, whew.
Do you not feel like it's happened like quite quickly? Like how sort of nuclear the situation went from like. Last season they won the trophy. He's like the guy, and it seemed like they've qualified for the Champions League. So it's not like it's not like they just won the Carabao Cup and then like missed out on Champions League. Like they're in the Champions League. It feels like it's a bit of a random. Feels like it's a bit of a random sort of situation from nowhere. You could imagine if he was the best player in a team that had had a terrible season, you can completely understand it. But in a team that's had their best season in terms of probably atmosphere at the club, the best season in like more than half a century, and they've qualified for the Champions League. It seems like a bit of a funny blow up to me. But...
It's a World Cup year too. So if Isak refuses to play and he stays and he just sits out the whole year, like an NFL level, like absolute melty. You know, remember when Le'Veon Bell did it and he was never the same? That's just like a conversation for two people on the entire listener base. But like, does Isak get called up? Does he like surely he does anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like when he hasn't played a meaningful fixture in a full calendar year despite being fit.
Yeah, he definitely still gets called up.
The guy could have one leg and he'd be playing. Like I think he's especially like that Sweden team's mental, by the way. Like you've got like Ayari, Gyökeres, and Isak all playing there. Like if they had a good defense, they'd be up there. I'm flying around on a tangent now, but it was meant to be a quick question, and I started talking about the Sweden national team.
No, we are now going to pad it out until the end of the draw, though. At this round.
I mean, yeah, so the draws
weird ties.
The draw is
good ties coming up.
The draw is in progress, so now we've got to keep
we have to because we've had Port Vale versus Arsenal, good tie. Lincoln
it's because of these stupid pre-drawn nonsense. That's why.
Well, we can talk about that. We can talk about the rigged nature of this entire draw for round 3.
Because they have to. Is it like the European clubs avoid each other, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
For this round, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's mad. It's genuinely mad.
Well, we don't get any of the Euro teams either because that part of the draw is just finished. So at least we don't get scammed into playing like Man City at
Huddersfield at home to Man City. Good draw. Spurs at home to Doncaster. Liverpool South. Oh, we've avoided Liverpool, so that's good.
Well, you see, I thought Oxford away, piss easy away day for me. Like I'll definitely get tickets to that, and they were bloody sold out in the tier 2. I was like, that was a perfect Friday tier sale for me. That would be because I'm losing Everton this year. I'm not going to get Sunderland either, obviously, because everyone will want to go to that. Because there's a lot of people who they've never gone to Sunderland before because they weren't, around back when we've
not been there for 20 years, nearly, I think.
But yeah, it's just a weird one. We didn't get our fabled Wolves away draw. I was hoping we would. That's such an easy away day for me.
Newcastle get a really easy draw.
Isak will be loving it.
Playing in the Carabao Cup third round, yeah. That's his big debut. Oh, Palace Millwall.
Oh, that's a tie. Because they played in the FA Cup last season, didn't they? When that goalkeeper got a horrible injury. It was Mateta. He injured Mateta, didn't he?
It was, yeah. God, that was a bad.
It was the fly kick, wasn't it? Basically came charging out. Oh, that was Grimsby really away to Sheffield Wednesday is not a happy draw, is it? When you just knocked out
Can
Man
you imagine?
And you're gonna be playing at an empty Hillsborough because they boycotted last night, didn't they? In the league game.
They could beat Sheffield Wednesday.
They absolutely could, yeah.
Yeah.
They absolutely could. Wrexham Reading. Oh, what a boring tie that was.
Oh, unlucky Ryan.
Possible.
That's not the Hollywood tie they were hoping for. They've had a tough start, ain't they?
Yeah.
Good.
You knew they would. Everybody who knows ball knew that they would struggle in that. They don't understand how the championship's a hard place to play.
And you also can't buy your way out of it, particularly because loads of clubs either have parachute money or loads of other clubs are also trying to buy their way out of it.
That's the thing. It's you go from 10 million will get you out of League One to 150 mil will get you out of the Championship.
It's basically it's Premier League. It's kind of
Premier Barnsley away, boys.
Oh, good.
We're headed to Barnsley.
Barnsley away.
Right. At least Kalen Vickers can't play against us.
I mean, that's fine. That's absolutely. I think the last I'm going to make. I think it was in the cup. Probably were they in the Championship the year that we
It's
came
a bit
up?
of a bugger because the only other two left were Fulham and Cambridge away would have been a beauty of a drive for me.
Oh,
It's
that would have
literally
been.
like 40 minutes down the road, but
Yeah.
it's an hour and 48 to Barnsley. We may just have to do it anyway.
Perfect.
This is a lot further.
I
for
think
our
the
fans
last
to get
time-
right points, though. Yeah,
The last time we played there, Sam Baldock scored and did his weird like Mario Kart celebration.
ties to be played week commencing September 15th and September 22nd.
I think it is.
So,
That was in like the bright yellow away kit as well, like
Yeah,
the
it was,
high
yeah.
vis.
oh, I love that
type
kit.
thing. Yeah, it's a good one.
Anyway, we managed to pad that out for 10 minutes. Well done.
Yeah, well done, fellas. There is some good draws there, admittedly,
Some quality draws,
even
yeah.
outside of the rigged draws that prevent those top teams going out early. Some of the ones outside of that, the natural draws, Palace, Millwall, big
Hell
one.
of a draw.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. We will be back Monday. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will be back for post-City, post-transfer deadline day, slamming shut to talk about whatever the hell has gone on. So yeah, have a good rest of your week, everybody, and stay safe.
Cheers, guys. Thanks all.